Thank you for joining us tonight. Our top story, Georgia State Patrol is investigating after a deadly hit and run in Candler County. It happened just after 10 p.m. Thursday night. GSP troopers responded to the scene of Pulaski Road near Flower Road after receiving reports that a cyclist had been hit. Officials identified the victim as 68-year-old Darnell Hodges. He died at the scene. A witness says Hodges had fallen in the roadway, and when they went to help, both Hodges and the bike were hit by a silver Honda CRV, which drove off towards Statesboro. Deputies in Candler County were able to track the vehicle down and detain the driver for an interview. It's not yet clear if that driver has been arrested and charged. The investigation is ongoing. We'll keep you updated on air and online as we learn more. Well, new at 6, students and families are rallying behind a Savannah Arts Academy teacher after she was suspended without pay. We're told it's because the teacher allowed students to create artwork that contained profanity. Sources tell WSAV that teacher is Megan Peigelbeck, and the art was created for an annual art show with local artist Panhandle Slim on February 26th. Several pieces contained profanity towards ICE, which was censored by students after requests from school administration. Sources say Peigelbeck was notified of the suspension on April 23rd. She will miss 5 days of work without pay. Now her students and their families, as well as her colleagues, are working to help her make ends meet this month. If you'd like to donate, you can find ways to do so on our website. We have reached out to the school system for comment, but we have not yet heard back. Well, WSAV is your local election headquarters. One major player in Georgia's Democratic Party was in Liberty County today, throwing her support behind a longtime colleague. Former state representative and gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams was in Midway today, rallying voters in the area as early voting in Georgia counties continue. Abrams made the appearance to endorse her former state House colleague, State Representative Al Williams. Abrams also spoke about the ongoing battle over redistricting happening nationwide and the ramifications it has on voters.
What's unfortunately happening across this country, starting in the South, but across this country, is that politicians are deciding the outcome of elections before they're even voting. And that happens when you strip communities of their right to be represented.
Georgia has not begun the redistricting process, but Governor Brian Kemp says he may still call lawmakers back to Atlanta to redraw the state's congressional maps. If that happens, Governor Kemp said the maps would not go into effect until the 2028 elections, as voting has already begun in Georgia's primaries. Now over to South Carolina, where in Columbia, a House Constitutional Laws subcommittee heard more than 2 hours of public testimony in response to Republican lawmakers' push to redraw the state's congressional map. It's a move some experts warn could have major consequences. Julia Keener with our sister station in Spartanburg explains what happens next.
Redistricting usually happens every 10 years after the census, but South Carolina lawmakers are now considering changing congressional district lines in the middle of an election cycle. The battle over South Carolina's congressional districts isn't over yet.
We have never seen a president be this aggressive in trying to maintain his majority.
Political analyst Brent Nelson explains the push comes after a recent Supreme Court decision opened the door for states to revisit district lines, including South Carolina's majority-minority 6th district, represented by Congressman Jim Clyburn.
Now that doesn't make our congressional delegation more representative of South Carolina, but it does back the majority party.
Supporters argue that updated lines could create more stable seats for the GOP. But Nelson says even some Republicans are questioning whether that would be the case.
Senator Massey has been raising the question, are we really redrawing the map so that we have safe seats, or are we making these districts more competitive, meaning Democrats might win these seats?
What election officials do know is that redrawing maps would be a massive undertaking for counties across the state.
We're talking about thousands upon thousands of addresses and address points that we are verifying and double checking.
The changes could force a second primary election later this summer.
That manpower would be rough. It's such a busy time for so many individuals that they won't be able to work the polls.
Beyond the logistics, Nelson says the proposal is also raising questions about fairness in the redistricting process.
Is this really what a democracy is all about, where you choose your voters instead of the voters choosing the representatives. And this makes it quite obvious.
State lawmakers are expected to continue debating the proposal in the coming days.
That was Julia Keener reporting. A proposal in the State House would create a special primary for South Carolina's congressional elections on August 11th instead of counting votes for those races on primary election day on June 9th. No other races would be impacted by this proposed change. For more information about this year's elections, head to wsav.com/electionhq. Well, we're taking a live look outside now over Savannah's beautiful riverfront. It was a pretty day, and then the rain definitely swept in. We're going to check in with Storm Team 3 meteorologist Hannah Evans for a look at the forecast. Hey, Hannah.
Hey, Sarah. Yeah, we tracked rain and clouds throughout the day today. Now we're beginning to see these showers move off the coast, and then eventually we will see that activity wind down into tonight. But here is our Viper radar just south of 16. Seeing a few scattered showers at this point. No thunderstorms showing up on our radar, but this is all still due to that stalled front that is sitting to our south, aiding in extra moisture in and around the region. So if you are heading out tonight for dinner, to go out downtown Savannah, anything like that, just have the umbrella nearby. We cannot rule out a scattered shower, maybe a passing storm rolling through. And it's also going to be a mild and muggy night out there. So 70 degrees right now in Savannah, 72 degrees in Pembroke and in Metter. Tonight we do stay on the mild side, on the humid side as well. So we will wake up tomorrow morning in the 60s. But to start your Mother's Day, it is likely we will see a few scattered rain and storms to start your day tomorrow, and then that begins to taper off in the afternoon. So definitely Mother Nature on our side with the lower rain coverage, which I will talk more about in the full forecast coming up. Sarah.
Hannah, thank you. Turning now to a community report, the rain didn't stop people from showing up for the 50th annual Glenville Sweet Onion Festival today. There you just saw Parade Grand Marshals Festival Committee Co-Chair Wayne Dasher and Mrs. America Paige Ewing, who was actually crowned Miss Georgia Sweet Onion in 2002. Following the parade this morning, festival goers walked down Barnard Street, enjoyed delicious onion rings and blooming onions, and browsed the dozens of vendors and shops downtown. Ewing shared why this event is so special to her.
Just being a part of this organization that brings communities together, brings families back together, but also brings people back home. People come home from wherever they have moved to participate in this, and I'm just honored to be the Grand Marshal for the 50th anniversary.
Ewing also said she was honored to be crowned Mrs. America as we continue to celebrate the nation's 250th birthday. And the fun continues tonight. Starting at 7 p.m., there is a Sweet Onion street dance at the stage on Barnard Street.